Yeah, and Susan Tauber has a lot of platinum ones too. I should call her and see if I can meet her somewhere and get them. You know about Klarn, P-L-A-R-N? Oh, yeah. Klarn, yeah. So I do the prep, and Joe does the makeup.
We have sound? Wonderful. I love that news. Yes. Wonderful. I am hearing.
I'm hearing voices. That was you and Bruce.
Oh, it's on Jan's thing. Okay.
I was making sure we had sound. It's delayed, so.
Great.
Can they see us now?
Yes. They can hear you too.
Hey, y'all.
Rush, hello. I want to say hello to the Zoom people. Can I do that?
Oh, there. If you look just into the camera up there, they can see you from there. I don't have my. I forgot my computer today.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, we're going to tip the building over the wall.
If that's the problem, it was headed that way. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, umevorach, Shabbat shalom, umevorach, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everybody. I'm so glad we're together. I feel very grateful to have a warm place to be this evening. And hi, everybody online. We're glad you're with us and safe in your homes. I was getting notices from other synagogues that I've been involved in, like, oh, we're going to be inside, we're going to be only Zoom this week, we're going to be, because all the places across the Midwest got hit pretty hard. So it's lovely to be able to be together. So thank you. Thanks for coming in and being with us. We are going to continue with candle lighting. Sheila, would you mind coming to light the candles this evening?
I'm not really good with this.
Okay, would you like matches instead?
I would love that.
Okay, let's see. Maybe offer you something I can't find, but.
Well, I'll try this.
Okay. Oh, well, here's another one.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, great. Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishan mitzotav, v'tzivanu lahavivnei shel shalom. Good job, us. Thank you, Sheila. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. We're going to continue welcoming Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem, which is on page 10. Shalom Aleichem, Malechei HaSharet, Malechei Elyon, Mihi Melech, Malechei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malechei Shalom, Malach Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitzchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I feel grateful for the respite that is Shabbat every week. Whatever we went through this week, whatever things were happening in the world, we're able to let them go and just be together. And what a wonderful thing we're able to do, and to be able to welcome that spirit of Shabbat amongst us. We'll continue with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabla. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabla. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad, Hishmiyanu al hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem tiferet v'litchila. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabla. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki hi mekor habracha. Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabla. Hitoreri, Kiva orech kumiori, Uri, Shir Daberi, Kavod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabla. We rise to face the door. Boi v'shalom atzeret b'ala, Gam b'simcha u'tola, Toch emunei am segula, Boi chala. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabla. It's dry. That's that winter air. We're going to continue with Chatzi Kaddish, which is on page 17. Yitkadav Yitkadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedecho be'Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam ulal me'omaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitramam v'yinaseh v'yitalal T'mei kudushav richu le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata v'amiran be'alma ve'imeru amen. We rise and continue with Baruch Hu, which you will find on page 18. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed HaMevorach me'olam va'ed. Be seated. Praise be you, O God, our God, ruler of the universe. With your word you bring on evenings. With wisdom you open the gates of heaven. And with understanding change the times, alternate the seasons, and arrange the stars in their watches in the sky according to your will. You create day and night. You roll the light away from before darkness, and darkness from before light. You cause day to pass and bring night, and differentiate between day and night. God's name is God of all hosts, the Almighty, who is living and enduring, will reign over us forever. Praise be our eternal God, who brings on evening. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu lemadata, al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu, uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach v'divrei toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki chem hayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, ve'ahavadcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Le'olam, Le'olam Va'ed. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children. And you shall speak of them when you're sitting in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God. I've been thinking a lot about freedom lately, about what does it mean to be really free. As we come into Mi Chamocha, this song about freedom, I invite you to think about the things that you really hope to be free from, and what it is that what chains you want to let go of. What are the things that you need to release in your life? In the dead of winter, it's sort of easy to forget that, spring is coming, and that we have the opportunity to, be free from the heaviness of wet snow. But it's also, I find, in my experience, it's easy in winter to sort of get bogged down in the muck a little bit. And I needed the reminder this week of what things I am working to be free from, and that it takes some work, but I feel very grateful to know that it's possible. So I invite you to think about that intention as we sing Mi Chamocha and sort of let go of those things that are keeping you back, keeping you from crossing the sea, the fears and the doubts that are holding you in the Mitzrayim, in the narrow place, and letting them go this Shabbat. Yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Malachutecha ra'u vanecha, rokei hayav lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. We're going to continue in page 26. If you'd like to pray with me in the English in the sort of bottom third of that page. Help us to lie down, Adonai, our God, in peace, and let us rise again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Decree for us a worthy daily lot, and redeem us for the sake of your great name. And enfold us in the wings of your protection, for you are our redeeming guardian. Truly a sovereign, gracious, and compassionate God are you. Guard our going forth each day for life and peace, now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, who spreads your canopy of peace over all your people Israel and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Continue on page 51. Martin Buber always speaks to me. And this is one that really, this bit of his knowledge really hit me today. We do not even know how we are supposed to pray. All we can do is call for help because of the need of the moment. But what the soul intends is spiritual need. Only we are not able to express what the soul means. That is why we do not merely ask God to hear our call for help, but also beg the one who knows what is hidden to hear the silent cry of the soul. Please rise and join me on page 51. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah Elohei Rachel Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasei Avot V'Imahot U'Mei Gula Livnei B'neihem Le'man Shemo Ve'ahava Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Abraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Le'Hoshia Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed Mechayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofech Olim U'Matir Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata l'hachayot hakol. Baruch ata Adonai, mechayei hakol. Ata kadosh v'shivcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom ya'alu chasela. Baruch ata Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. We are going to continue celebrating Shabbat with Vishamru, which is on page 55. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. Beini uven b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'doratam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shavat vayinafash, Shavat vayinafash, Shavat vayinafash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. We're going to now take some time for some silent prayer and meditation. Whatever words are coming to you this evening, I invite you to let them spill forward. Imre fi, eyon libi lefanecha, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, begoali, begoali. So this week we are We're scheduled to have another bar mitzvah tomorrow morning, and they have, Cole Anders and his family has decided to postpone for a month, so join us back here in exactly a month for a new rendition of Truma, which is this week's Torah portion. It's an interesting one. It's mostly a conversation about how to build the Mishkan, the Ark, or the Tabernacle. A conversation about how it should look, and cubits, and what, gold and silver, and all the things people were supposed to bring. But, and it's kind of complicated, right? Because it's not like, it's not like people know exactly what those measurements could be, and right. So people do their best to sort of figure out what that looks like now in modern, to translate that into modern day times. But the thing that actually interests me is that at the very beginning, God says, or Moses said, you shall make a sacred holy space. And it sort of got me thinking about what is sacred space and what does it mean. And I don't know if you know the artist India Ari. She's one of my favorite singers. She sings a lot of really beautiful songs that I like to call prayer songs, because my favorite one is called I Am Light, which is a song about how we are all, these light beings. But she also sings this song about being a sacred space. And, once I started reading about this Torah portion, of course, then I couldn't stop singing it, because that's how my brain works, But it really did get me thinking, what does it mean? What does sacred space look like? This is a sacred space, but is it? What is it that makes this space sacred, or any space, really? We hope that our homes are sacred spaces, right? Is it because we put up a mezuzah, or is it because of who's inside of it, or is it because of all of the above? Is it because we live Jewish lives in our homes, or choose to live, clean it a certain way, or make it look a certain, what is it about space that's sacred? And then my next question, of course, is why do we need it? Right? Because if God is within each of us, and God is everywhere, and God is all the time and all things, then do we need? I'm not advocating, to be clear, getting rid of the building, right? That's not what I'm saying. But do we really need these spaces? And I think this week's Torah portion answers yes. Because unlike God, who is within and without and everywhere and all the time, we are human beings. And we sometimes need a physical reminder of that reality. We need that, oh, when I walk in here, this is how this feels, right? And I think it's the same way that we sort of, on Saturday mornings, we will parade the Torah around so people can interact with the Torah, at a bar mitzvah, or, a Saturday morning service. It's that same, if you were looking from the outside, you might think, oh, are they worshiping that object? But the answer is no, we're interacting with it, right? And where else are we going to be doing that kind of interacting but in this space? And at the same time, we hope all of our spaces that we enter are sacred. And so I've just been sort of wrestling with this idea of the material need for a spot, and the idea of if God is everywhere, can't anywhere in theory be sacred, right? If God is within me, then everything I am is sacred, which I think is true. And it goes back to that idea of duality, we are holding both of those realities here. I have to tell you, I'm really glad that I wasn't a part of building this Mishkan, because it was very detailed. But the people needed it, right? In the desert, there they were in 400 years in Egypt, crossed the sea, they're in the desert, and Moses is supposed to be the guy in charge, but the people are very suspicious. And one of the things about the Israelites that I like so much is how much they complain. Because I just really relate to them sometimes. I get, they're okay, Moses went up that mountain and then he's gone, so let's worship this other thing because this is probably over. I just really, sometimes I'm oh yeah, okay, I get it, right? And so they need that representation of God. And it's not, right, it's not an idol worship thing, it's more of a reminder, right? It's a grounding piece of something tangible that humans need to be reminded of what our relationship to God is. And that's what I think Shir Tikvah is. In so many ways, it's sacred because of that, but it's also sacred because of who we are. Like, the people who come here make this a sacred space. So as the winter continues, although today I will say it was light out until almost 6 o'clock, and I will keep giving you weather updates until it becomes spring again, do not worry. I just think it's really important for us to think about how we look at our spaces, and do we need more sacred spaces in our lives? Like, do we need more touchstones, more moments where we can remember, right? Like, that's the reason for a mezuzah. It's not like, depends on who you ask, I guess. Like a Kabbalist might say it's a magic amulet, right, to ward off demons, right? Or you might think that, like, oh, it's a reminder of, like, when I'm in every room of my house, I'm with God in that space. I'm with the divine there, Or, like, when I put on a talit, like, yes, it's supposed to remind me of the the 613 commandments with its fringes and everything else, but really it's a reminder of, like, what it means to be in a prayer space. And people have little blessings in their cars, right? Like, and I just think we can think more about what does it mean to build the sacred space, especially from scratch, right? Like, the Israelites were, like, doing this from scratch. It wasn't like it was just, they had the instructions, but, they didn't really know what things were supposed to look like. It was kind of like building an IKEA situation, but with no pictures. And they did that because they needed it. And so do we. So do I. So I hope you'll find some time this Shabbat to find a sacred space, even if it's just the sacred space within, which is also a container for the divine and a lovely place to be. Shabbat shalom, everybody. From here in our sacred community, we think of those now who are in need of healing of body and of mind and of spirit. Our community is thinking this evening of Rita Golden, Ted Golden, Donna Prentice Bonner, Rebecca Harris, Craig Cook, Cindy Silverman, Steve and Sharon Burns, Mike Ingber, Barbara Saul, Suzanne Kovacs, and Doreen Billett. If there is somebody for whom you would like to pray the Misha Berach prayer for healing this evening and whose name you'd like to share with our community, I invite you to do so. You. Thank you. We turn to page 67 and we join together. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Bruce, since you're here, would you mind doing some announcements? You don't have to. I can read them, but you're here, so.
I wasn't able to rehearse this.
Okay. Well.
Okay. The membership committee has two fantastic events planned on Zoom in February. Bake an apple pie from scratch with Marla Scaife on Sunday, February 20, and learn to crochet with Lauren Stein on Monday, February 21. Two great options for adults and kids alike, and fun midwinter break activities too. See the e-blast for details. A walking group is forming at CST. The group meets on Sundays at 12:30 in our parking lot. Contact Faye Blatt with interest. Due to a scheduling conflict, the February Lunch and Learn will meet on the third Tuesday of February, that's the 15th, at noon. Mark your calendar for a congregation-wide financial update on Zoom taking place on Sunday, February 13. This is a big picture information session. Check your e-blast for the link. Save the date of Friday, March 11 for Rabbi Alicia's installation, celebration service. Have you been joining us either in person or virtually for Shabbat services and are interested in membership? Please contact our Executive Director, Lorelei Berg, at info@shirtikvah.org with questions or to learn more. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you, Bruce. For not rehearsing, I thought you did pretty good. We are going to continue now with the Aleinu, which is on page 74. Aleinu, it is on us. It is upon us to praise and worship and to live in that sacred relationship. Please rise. Karen, you want to come open the ark? האדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורל עלינו ככל המונם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ You'll be seated for a moment. We turn our thoughts to yesterday, to a world that lives only in our memory. As we recall the days gone by, we know the past is irretrievable. Yet, through the gift of memory, we recapture treasured moments and images. We are thankful for the happiness we knew with those no longer here, with whom we lived and laughed and loved. We praise the eternal wellspring of life who links yesterday to tomorrow. We affirm that despite all the tragedy bound up with living, it is still good to be alive. We understand that there can be no love without loss, no joy without sorrow. May we have the courage to accept the all of life, the love and the loss, the joy and the sorrow, as we remember them. This week, we are in a period of Shiva for Norm Thorpe, father of Sarah Chisholm and Carrie Keogh, and our beloved congregant and friend. We are also in a period of Shloshim for Martin Bernstein, husband of Martha Bernstein, father of Michael Bernstein, and our beloved congregant and friend. We are also in a period of Shloshim for Royalyn Vert, mother of David Zachman and mother-in-law of Bonnie Zachman. This week, we also recall the Yartzites, the anniversary of the passing of Stephen Reifler, brother of Deborah McElroy, Rose Demp, mother of Barry Demp, Gloria Chadwick, mother of Marla Scaife and our beloved CST member, Robert Fairbank, stepfather of Stephen West, Myrna Springer, mother of Stacy Ziegenfelder, Paula Katz, mother of Joe Katz, Ralph Koski, brother of Richard Koski, Wolf Gruka, father of Margie Starr, Ralph Lustman, father of Sheila Henkel, George Lerner, father of Joyce May, George Bellinson, brother of Sheldon Bellinson, Theodore Lawrencell, father of Jan Lawrencell, Sanford Shapiro, brother of Audrey Shapiro, Edwin Springer, father of Stacy Ziegenfelder, Frida Haley, mother of Sharon Curran, Francella Simpson, mother of David Simpson. We rise and join together for the words of Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, on page 78. Yitkadal v'kadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, be'chayechon uvyomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam lomei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal, shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom v'imramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Zichronam livracha, may all of their memories continue to be a blessing to each of us. To which we say, amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav, Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Please be seated. We're going to conclude this evening with Eli, Eli, which is on page 83, a poem by Hannah Senesh, 83. An incredible woman who was a paratrooper in the Israeli army, and she really, but the words of her poetry really, we use them often. We use them here, we use them at funerals oftentimes, and the ways in which she put together the words and the phrasing, just beautiful. Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer leolam, hachol v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat hadam, hachol v'chayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat hadam. Oh God, my God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heaven, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayers of my heart. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. L'chaim, everybody. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. My friends, may it be a Shabbat in which you are able to find the sacred space within, and also where you don't have to do too much more shoveling. Shabbat shalom. Stay warm, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.